Hi guys, it's me. I'm so sorry if you can hear noise in this video. Everybody's home today. We had a snow day. So today we are going to make postcards. The best part is that they are made from junk that you probably already have. These are inserts from magazines and they're the perfect size for kind of junk mail postcards or mixed media postcards. I'm going to show you how I do them. I kind of do them in two separate styles. I love collage, so we're definitely going to do a collage one, and then we're also going to do one with just gesso and paint in case that's all you have. I do have some paint pins here. I have my Deco Arts paint pins and my Deco Art paints. I thought because I did this one kind of warm that we would do cool colors. So I have my Deco Arts Americana Peacock Teal, which is such a beautiful color, and then my Deco Arts Traditionals, which is an artist grade acrylic paint, but this is the only yellow that I have, and this is Hansa Yellow Light, which is such a beautiful color. And then I also have my Deco Arts Americana Orange Flame. So, and that was a new color I think that they released either, I think maybe last year or the year before, but it's a beautiful color. And then I just have some mark making things that we'll talk about. You can do as much or a little or as little as you want with this project. I'm going to use my glue stick, and then I just have some scraps on my desk, and I'm definitely going to use some of my Deco Arts Media gesso. So you'll see me use that. So for the first one, you'll just take them out. They're different sizes. You just rip them out of your magazine. Most magazines come with a ton of them, so you'll definitely have lots to choose from. And then you're going to grab your gesso. And I will have a link to the paints and the products that I'm using. I love this gesso. It's so nice and thick and creamy. And it covers very, very well. So I'm just going to kind of go through and cover everything up like that. Just like that. Just like that. Okay, and then you can take your skewer. I always have a skewer or a pencil or whatever you have. And I just like to make a few designs in there just to scribble. I just like scribbling into textured surfaces, but it's really great because the paint will pick it up. And then just let that dry. The next one we're going to do is going to have a collage base. Let me just make sure that I put this up. And I really love the collage version. That's like my favorite. But I thought, well, if someone doesn't have paints, they can, or papers, or they don't like to collage, they can definitely do this one too. So I just have a bunch of different sizes of paper that I'm going to use. And I don't cover the surface or anything because we're just gluing stuff down basically. So just kind of cover your surface with glue. It's okay if it goes a little bit on the sides, but these are great. They're ready to go. I usually just glue a piece of white paper on the back so I can address them. But most of my postcards I actually put in an envelope because postcards take forever to arrive. So I want mine to get there a little bit quicker. But this is just so fabulous. A little thing that you can send to your art friends, which I think is so awesome. Or as a thank you for Happy Meal or something like that. So I just love these kind of projects. And the best part is they're usually really thick, these inserts, and you're recycling them. I'm all about recycling and reusing. And I'm sure I'm not the first person to think of this. So if you do searches, I'm sure that you'll find tons of videos on other artists that have figured this out and, make postcards. So definitely go check them out. I will see if I can link some. If I can find it. Sometimes I do searches and I'll link stuff below, but just like that. Right, and you can even add more. I really love this tissue paper, but I think I want to use that for maybe a top layer. We can use like stuff from magazines, like this is just text from magazines. There's just so many different elements that you can use in your art. This is, actually, I don't think I'm going to add this just because of the color, because I'm going to try to do warm colors. So after you do that, then you're going to grab some of your gesso and just do a nice even kind of coat over the entire card. And this is just kind of preparing our surface, and it kind of covers up a little bit of that stuff that's underneath, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal if it's not covered up. We're going to cover it with paint, and paint would work. But I just love adding gesso because you can scrape into it, which is so fun. So for this one, I can do lines, and I can do circles, so you can see kind of those bottom layers. Just like that. See? Fun. Alrighty. Okay. Okay, so let's grab one that I painted before. Just somewhere here. This is the one that I did the gesso with, so let's do that one first. We'll let that other one dry. And I usually don't care if things dry. I'll just keep working through. But let's just add that on there. Right, and I think before I do that, I'm going to grab one of my oil pastels, and I just want to make some marks. So we're doing warm colors. I don't have any red out, so I'm just going to kind of scribble with oil pastel. I'm not thinking about it. It's okay. It's going to mix in with the paint. It'll be beautiful and perfect, and it'll work. So let's do some yellow and some orange. Oops. Shake, 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 shake. So we get to shake. And I put out little bits of paint, and then I add stuff. But feel free to do the reverse if that's how you want. I just don't like wasting paint. I don't think that you should, if you can help it. Let's see, and then I also want some white. Alrighty, so I have my Americana whitewash, which I put right down here. Can't see here, but it's here. You'll see me use it. And then we're just going to go in. I usually go in with yellow because it's kind of lighter than all the other things, all the other colors. And don't worry if you can see a little bit of the text underneath. This is just our kind of initial layer of paint. So we're not too worried about it, right? No, we're not. We go into yellow, and I'm going to go right into that oil pastel. And the oil pastel is going to move a little bit, and that's okay. I think that's really interesting. It creates a very interesting kind of look to it. Oops, and my hands are a little dirty because I've been finger painting, so that color is not as beautiful as I would like it to be. So I'm going to grab baby wipes so I can wipe off my dirty fingers here. It's a little bit muddier than I want, but that's okay. It's just because I have blue and I have kind of tricolor fingers right now. Alrighty, so let's kind of just wipe that back just a little bit. I'm going to wipe it off completely, but just a little bit. Then let's go in with a clean finger. That's much better. And we'll get that beautiful orange color going in. These are really fun. It's fun to do these like with your friends. You can just get together and make a whole bunch of postcards and send them to each other and have a great time. Then I'm going to go into my pink. And you see that the orange is a little bit transparent. So if you didn't like that, if you wanted it to be more opaque, you could just add a little bit of white paint. But I don't mind it. I kind of go with the flow with my art, as you guys will know. I think it should be fun. You should do it for the process and not be so like worried about how things turn out. Especially if it's gonna stop you from making art altogether. And I've seen it happen to people like that. Like I hate showing my students kind of my finish projects, you know, for my art journal pages when I do an art journaling class, just because you want them to do their own style and I think we're really hard on ourselves and we think, oh, it needs to be like that. So I like teaching processes and letting people kind of come up with their own style and let it be organic. And I think that that's just better, right? Because if you see someone's work, you're automatically going to compare yourself, even though we totally shouldn't do that, but we do. So very good. So we can just give that a second to dry. I think that's really beautiful and vivid and gorgeous, and I love it. So that's pretty. And let's go in with this one, and this is the one that we kind of just doodled with and stuff like that. So let's go in with the pink. And you see, because I'm using my fingers, that it's kind of mixed together. So I have a whole bunch of colors on my fingers now, which is okay. Go in and add a little bit of pink. And I'm not really thinking when I'm adding the color. I'm just, you know, I always think of like that you should put things in at least 3 spaces, you know, use your odd numbers. Think of composition a little bit, but don't let that stop you. If you want to just have 2 blobs of yellow paint, that's okay. Like, no, the paint police are not going to come and get you, you know. And I just love working with color families. I just love the way that it looks. And then I can add the other color family on top if I want. But I just love working in color families. It's just a preference thing. But again, this is how I work. You will come up with your own style as you actually do art, right? You got to do it. And every part doesn't have to be totally covered with paint for this process. It does not, actually should not be, maybe. Very good. So that looks awesome. Very cool. I'm happy with that. And I'm going to wipe off my dirty fingers here. And then I'm going to go in with some white and just kind of add that in a little bit too. And what the white does is it adds that beautiful white, because I love black and white. I think that they should be in every composition, and I always add them. People say that black is harsh. I don't agree. I think black makes colors pop when they're next to each other. I mean, there's other colors that you can use. Of course, like Payne's Gray is a really great color that isn't very harsh, but I really love black and white, and you'll always see them on all my projects as a way to kind of balance things out. Plus, you get a variation of shades, kind of like you get your own custom colors that you can't get out of a bottle. So I really love that. Just go in and kind of do that a little bit. And I'm just going to let that dry just for a second. And while I'm doing that, I want to add in some more paper. Right, so we talked about this beautiful yellow tissue paper that I got at Happy Mail that I love. And can kind of stick that, I can just kind of stick that in a few places. Right, and I'm going to go ahead and stick those down. Oops. And it's going to be okay. It's going to wrinkle. It's not going to be perfect, and that's all right. Okay, don't worry about it. Just create. It doesn't matter. Just try it. I think that we have to be like children when we create. You have to be experimental. You can't. And for me too, because sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, where's this going? I totally messed up, you know, but should not feel that way. You know, it's okay. Very good. Perfect. And then let's get some text going on in here, because I love text. This is from an old hymn book from my church that they were going to toss. But I love including this kind of stuff from in my journals. So it's perfect. Is everything perfectly glued down? No. And that's okay. It's like not the end of the world. I'm so sorry for the noise. My sister is very loud. You can hear her from like 20 miles away. Very good. Alrighty. Okay, and let's add a little bit of white again, just on the very edges of our paper. Just using my fingers, but you could absolutely use a paintbrush. I am just a fingers kind of person, so I always use my fingers, but you do not have to do that. And these are kind of, these paints aren't toxic, so you don't really have to worry about that with craft paints. I mean, they're safe enough for kids, so I figure, and kids probably put them in their mouths, so I figure it's not going to kill me, but you could absolutely use a barrier cream, and I will link that below. But I just love to finger paint. I've always loved to finger paint, so that's kind of interesting. I love it. And we can maybe go in, which I forgot while I was doing this process, and we can add in some scribbles. Oops. Got to be careful on the paper because I didn't like matte medium it down, which I probably should have done if I was going to scrape. So it is going to come up a little bit more than if you had glued it down. A lot more, actually. This is probably too harsh of an instrument, but that's okay. We'll just go in and cover it up. And once it dries, you know, everything will be encased and it won't be a problem. But very good. Just like that. Well, good. I like that actually. So that is ready to go to me. Let's see, maybe let's add a little bit of the purple in it, pink in there a little bit. And sometimes your colors will get dull or they're not bright enough, and just use your fingers, go in, add color where you want it to be. I love that. I love the texture that you can see. Okay, perfect. Alrighty, so then you'll just kind of set those aside to dry. You could add white to this if you feel so inclined. This is one that I did. I just added some washi tape, and this is the one that we're going to work on. Plus, we might work on another one too. This is the one that I did kind of with the color blocking, except I did add some white in there. But you see that it looks really cool, right? You can also add in some oil pastel, so I could add a little bit in here. And you just basically scribble it down, and then you can work it in with your hands. You might have to add a little bit of heat if it doesn't work very well though. Just like that. Okay, and then let's go in with our first, maybe let's go in with this, our little marker here. And I'm just going to make some just lines. I'm not overthinking it. I'm just making little dashes basically. Just a little patch of dashes. Nothing too crazy there. Okay, and I'm going to put it in 3 places. Okay, so we can even vary the angles, right? So it's a different angle. And this is just a regular ballpoint pen. I think it's like an off-brand. Like I got it from the dollar store. It doesn't even have a brand on it. So yeah, don't get caught up in brand names. Just kind of use things that you have. A ballpoint pen is always going to be waterproof. You don't have to worry about it. So I love using it. And it's very accessible. Just like that. So that's how that looks. And then we can go in with our black pen, right? And I love to do dots, so that's probably what I'm going to do. Is we're going to go right into the green, and we're just going to add dots, lots and lots of dots. Kind of my go-to mark making thing. You could even add white to this, would be really cool too. Like you could get a white paint pen and add that, and that'd be awesome. Very good. And then we can add a little bit here too. I do tend to say, like, have the marks coordinate with the color. So There's a little bit of green here. You probably can't see it, so that's why I'm doing it that way. And then I'm just going to pull it up and kind of see compositionally if I like this. Let me put you guys in a little bit more too. Okay. And let's get out a beautiful gold pen, right? We can do, this is kind of a glittery pen. And this one I love making like long dashes with. I do like 5 normally. Just like that. Okay. I think maybe we need to add a few more marks. Let's see, so I'm gonna do my ballpoint, get it going. And it doesn't like to do on top of oil pastel. That's actually why it's not working. Okay, let's see, it needs something else. Let's see, do I need another mark? I think I need another mark, but I need a different kind of pen. Maybe like that one, or even maybe a black one that isn't so, or you could do white. I could do white, honestly. Yeah, I think maybe we'll do white. Oh, I do have actually have my white Deco Arts. Let's use that one. It's a pretty one. And the other one, I didn't think it needed white. So again, I'm just kind of going with my gut here. You know, so let's maybe do some circles. Just because these circles I kind of scraped in. And I think it was missing that element. Like those are scraped in. And maybe let's add a few more up here. And I'm being very loose. I don't like things perfect, so, you know, do what you like. Just reinforcing a little bit of those shapes somewhere. Of course, it'll dry lighter. That's okay. Oh, I love that. I think that's really cool. Very cool. Awesome. Okay, that's just great. Okay, perfect. So let's just set that aside to dry just for a second. Let's kind of finish this one up too. I like this one though. I don't think it really probably needs anything, maybe. Actually, not at all. And this one I just did X's and triangles. So nothing too fancy. Very cool. Let's see. Do I want something else there? Maybe I could add some white. Maybe I'll add some white dots. Just a few. Nothing too fancy there. Perfect. I like that. Much better. So we can let that dry for a second. We can kind of go back to this one, see what we think about that. Okay, so for this one, I think maybe we'll do just some like, I don't even know, like small little dashes is what I am trying to say. I'm attempting to say, right? So we're having snow in Colorado. We have been very lucky. We have not had a bad winter at all. Well, maybe not lucky because we do need the moisture. I shouldn't say that. But yeah. But yeah, if we don't get moisture, then it's usually really hot in the summer. So I should not say that because I hate hot weather. I like it to be pretty. Like I love like 70, 75. I do not like crazy hot weather. It drives me crazy and then I complain, and I totally shouldn't complain because like it could be like 1 degree outside. So ungrateful person I am sometimes. So yeah, so yes, so I hope that it's cool. Last summer was really nice. It wasn't too hot. It was more like Colorado weather used to be. So yeah. Okay, and then let's maybe do some like little, I don't know what these are called, but little like circle thing. Let's maybe just do circles. I was gonna try to like do a little dip thing in there, but it was totally not working. So let's do some circles. You can fill in the circles. You can make this your own. Do it however you like. Just like that. Perfect. And this one desperately needs white. So we're definitely going to add some white. But first, let's add our beautiful, like, little pretty gold lines that I love. Probably need to, like, pump this up a little bit more, too. My gold wasn't as beautiful as it was. So, needed a pump. Pump, pump, pump. Pump there, and maybe we'll do one, like, here. Like I said, this is very, very random. I'm totally not thinking about it. I'm just putting marks where I like them. Very cool. All right, and let's add some white because we need some white. Maybe we will make some. We did kind of circly things. You know what I haven't done is my curly cues. I love curly cues or swirlies, whatever you want to call them. They're kind of big sometimes, so sometimes I don't use them, but they're fun. And oh my goodness, we're already on 30 minutes, so we should probably end this video. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry guys. You can always fast forward me. I'm sorry, I've been creating. I'm totally into this, is what's going on. This is normally what happens, so. Okay. And patrons, I'll have video for you guys on Wednesday, of course, as usual. So it'll be fun. I think you'll like it. So then we're just going to take our Tim Holtz stickers and we can add those right to one of these so you can see. So I think for this one, I'm actually going to do black just because I think it would look good. So these are just the stickers. I will link them below. It's the small talk, but you could print them on your computer. That's normally what I do, but these were gifted to me, so I'm going to use them up. So don't let that stop you. Just print out words from your computer. So that's what I did for a lot of years. If you look back at my videos, I barely had like any supplies. And this one's beautiful. I think I'll do this one. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. Isn't that the truth? That is totally true. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. I love that. This is probably not dry. But I'm a daredevil, so I'm going to go for it. Crazy girl. And do this one. And I do recommend that you seal this with like gel medium or something. That's my nephew. You guys are getting to hear all my family today, right? And then we'll go in and we'll just kind of go around our little design. I live in a madhouse. We'll go here. Could even do this with white. That might have been better, but I don't mind the black. I think it's kind of cool. And I don't worry if it's not perfectly perfect. So I just want a little bit of a shadow. That's why I'm doing this. So, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Look at that. Very cool. And then I'm just going to seal it. Let's do one more and then I'll let you go. Why not? Let's just finish it up, right? So I could do black, which would be very striking, but I think maybe I'll do white. You know what? I'm going to do what seems ordinary is often extraordinary. Because I think that these are pretty, and you could just stick it on there like that, but I kind of like to break them up. Often seems extraordinary is often extraordinary. And if you wanted to, you could add stickers and that kind of thing. I really want the words and the patterns and my marks to kind of take center stage. That's why I didn't do that on this. So that's up to you. Just go with your intuition, which you have. You just don't trust yourself sometimes. And me either, but we have to learn to not listen to those negative voices. Good. That had a little bit of oil pastel, so I might have to. And you could absolutely do this same process on an art journal page. So, yeah. Very good. Like I said, I don't care if it's scribbly. I think it's really cool. And one thing that I did forget to do, which I am totally going to do, is I forgot to scribble. Which is exactly what I did on my other one. So I could do like a little scribbly. Or whatever. It's not working because it has oil pastel, but you could just scribble. Like on the one that I showed you, I totally just scribbled on it. See those scribble marks? And I love to do that like as like the second layer before I start making the marks, because it just breaks it up and it makes it so that I'm not so tight and so like, oh my God, this has to be perfect. And of course you're going to cut off the edges of your thing. And I'm sure your desk will look a lot neater than mine. But I am a messy creator. So if you ever see a video, you know, where I don't have a mess on my table, it's just because I told myself, Shmi, you're making a video. You should probably try to be a little neater. But I have paint all over and then I clean it up at night and I'm like, Shmi, you have to start being neater. But I just get into it when I create. So really fun, very, very simple postcards that came from junk mail. So I hope that you make these. Hopefully you're inspired. I'd love to see a picture of yours, so let me know. So please, you know, you can contact me on Instagram. I will put a link below to that, or on Facebook. Always, I love to see your art. So never be shy. You can always contact me. You can email me. My email is always in the description of the videos about your art questions and that kind of thing. And let me know what other videos you guys would like to see coming up. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It'd be great if you could share this video with your friend or pin it on Pinterest, just because it's so nice to share the love and to inspire other people. So maybe someone will find my channel because of your wonderful gift of taking the time to share my video on your social media. So I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for all your support, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.